on to the point. Border Patrol arrests in Sacramento.
I said, stop, leave him alone. He's a U.S. citizen.
The operation in a Home Depot parking lot and the protests tonight.
Hundreds of trees along the American River could be removed as part of a flood and erosion control project, why neighbors are urgently fighting back.
The federal government cut billions in funding for the HighSpeed Rail project. Tonight, how state lawmakers are trying to keep the project going. Repurposing Alcatraz. Federal officials tour the iconic facility as President Trump plans to send criminals back to the Rock. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, protests are happening at the state capitol after federal immigration agents arrested people at homes and inside a Home Depot parking lot in southern Sacramento. The Department of Homeland Security just said they arrested 11 people. I want to go ahead and bring in ABC's Gabriel Porras, who is live at the Capitol with reaction tonight. Gabriel, what can you tell us so far?
And that's good trouble.
That's right, Alex. Those operations happened about 8 miles south of where we are here at the state capitol, but seeing those images that we've seen all afternoon, all evening, have really impacted the community at large, which is why they're gathering here at the state capitol. We do have some cell phone video showing some of the arrests from this morning. This is at the Home Depot off of Florin Road just before 8 this morning. A woman who identified herself as the wife of the man arrested said he is a U.S. citizen with no criminal history. According to a Border Patrol official, he is facing charges of impeding or assaulting a federal officer. Tonight, the community organizing group NorCal Resist says he has been released from federal custody. Here was what that man's wife had to say at the Home Depot earlier today.
Be careful. This could happen to you. This could happen to your family. It's not about you being legal or illegal anymore. It's about you being drowned.
We lift them out.
And in a statement today, the governor echoed that message, his office writing, quote, "The Border Patrol should do their jobs at the border instead of continuing their tirade statewide of illegal racial profiling and illegal arrests." Now back live out here at the Capitol, the official name of this protest is Good Trouble Lives On. It is sponsored by the SEIU 1021. It started around 4:30 with speeches, chanting, and plenty of signs. You can see a speech happening right now as well, protesting many of the Trump administration's policies. Obviously, though, tonight, immigration is taking the center stage with all the action that we saw here in Sacramento today. Live at the state capitol, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
All right, Gabriel, thank you so much. And Border Patrol said in a video on Instagram just today that there is no such thing as a sanctuary city. They said it while standing outside the Capitol building, saying they are not going anywhere. And it comes after Sacramento Mayor Kevin McCarty released a statement saying Sacramento has been a sanctuary city for 40 years. He sent this statement saying in part, quote, "These ICE raids are a violation of civil rights and an affront to democracy, There's a difference between deporting criminals and targeting people at Home Depot looking for work to feed their families." This is a developing story, and there are still a lot of questions surrounding today's arrest. We will be bringing you more information as we get it on air and online. Well, hundreds of trees along the American River and the habitat around them could be removed as part of a flood and erosion control project. Now neighbors in a Sacramento County neighborhood, La Riviera neighborhood to be more specific, are urgently fighting the plans, which are up for an important vote tomorrow. ABC's Becca Hobbecker shows us what's at stake.
We're in the south field of Larchmont Community Park.
Josh Thomas and Pete Spalding live in Sacramento County's La Riviera neighborhood.
People often bring their dogs out here. If you come here in the evening, it'll be filled with children playing soccer.
But the park could be filled with construction materials and equipment as soon as next summer. Its soccer fields are set to be the staging area for part of a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project aimed at protecting the levee from erosion in the event of a disastrous flood.
There's a lot at stake should a levee breach occur.
Hans Kuroda with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Sacramento District walked me through the American River Common Features Project. He's the engineering program manager on the project.
The levee systems, we're protecting over 500,000 people, and there's over $62 billion in assets that are at risk should a levee breach occur, and over 125,000 structures. So our mission and our job is to ensure the flood risk to the community is addressed.
The Corps is seeking environmental approvals to move forward with a part of the project called Contract 3B, which would affect trees and riverbanks along a 3-mile stretch of the American River from Howe Avenue to just east of Larchmont Park. It calls for the removal of some 700 trees, which neighbors with the group American River Trees say is overkill.
Do I care about erosion control? You bet. Do I care about flood protection? You bet. I've had flood protection, I've had flood insurance ever since I lived here. I'd be stupid if I didn't cover that. But to see Sacramento's greatest asset get torn apart when it doesn't have to be, that's what keeps us working to change the design plans.
They say trees provide natural erosion control.
You know, their roots, they get really extensive and they really hold together the bank. And these white alders will be removed by their project.
There's not much existing bank left in between the levee and the main river channel, and that bank is composed of highly erodible sands and silts. Despite the presence of vegetation,
Neighbors say they want to see more targeted surgical approaches to erosion rather than the transformation of entire stretches of the riverbank like this core work done along the river in 2023 near Sac State.
I would argue that this project is being very targeted. The areas that we're planning to construct erosion protection is just the areas where there's an immediate threat to the levee system and the community from an erosion-induced levee failure.
On Friday morning, the project goes before the Central Valley Flood Protection Board for a vote. And neighbors I spoke with say they are asking anyone with concerns to come and share those with board members.
Concerns also include noise and vibrations from construction, air quality, and proximity to an elementary school. The Corps says their goal is to monitor and mitigate harmful impacts as much as possible. In Sacramento County, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
And if the project gets all the approvals that it needs, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says once work begins, it would last for 2 summer construction seasons. And we have put all of this information about tomorrow's meeting and the project on our website over at abc10.com/links. All right, coming up onto the point, President Trump wants to bring prisoners back to Alcatraz, the response from Democrats and the challenges of making it a reality. Plus, California is in a fight for affordable health care, the latest lawsuit against the Trump administration.
Seasonal weather continues as we head into the weekend with highs in the low 90s. Then we're back in the mid 80s to start next work week. Forecast after the break.
But first, and other headlines. Severe weather continues in parts of the country. Right now, millions along the Gulf Coast are bracing for potentially devastating flooding. In southern New Jersey, 1 person was killed and 13 others, including a 7-year-old, were hurt when lightning struck an archery range.
Everything was great, and then the finger of God just came down and it took a life, and I pray that everybody else that's now in the hospital are okay.
Republican lawmakers are closer to cutting about $9 billion in public broadcasting and foreign aid spending. Democrats are trying to kill the measure, but would need some Republicans to join them. The bill would take away more than $1 billion from public broadcasting and another $8 billion from foreign aid programs. The White House says President Trump has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. It's a condition where there isn't adequate blood flow to the veins and legs. Tests revealed no evidence of bigger issues such as arterial disease, and that Trump isn't in any pain. All right, let's get a check of your forecast with meteorologist Brendan Minchef. Brendan, I know we were a little bit cooler today, but still not too bad.
Hey, cooler than normal, yeah, but warmer than yesterday overall. Still, any day in July that's in the 80s, I would consider that a good day. 89 is what made it to in Sacramento today, 90 in Stockton, 89 in Modesto, mid-80s in the foothills, low 80s in the high country. Look at the departure, though. We were about 5 degrees cooler than normal across the valley. Tahoe, almost perfectly seasonal. Right now, we are in the mid-80s across most of the valley, although still some low 90s up near Oroville, Marysville, and Colusa. 85 in Sacramento, 88 in Stockton, 87 Manteca, 86 in Tracy, 88 in Modesto, 80s in the foothills, and 70s in the Sierra. Looking at downtown, 85 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. That onshore wind will continue through the overnight. It won't be that strong overnight, but a little bit of a breeze. It's going to make things feel a little chilly. So if you are out really early in the morning or before sunrise tomorrow, you'll probably want just a light jacket. It's going to be about 56. And again, we'll have a little bit of a breeze between about 5 and 10 miles per hour. 60 in Stockton to start Friday morning, 61 in Modesto, 50s to mid 60s in the foothills. And tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be in the low 90s. warmer than the last couple of days, but very near seasonal. The average high is 93. I've got 91 in Sacramento, 92 in Stockton, 94 in Modesto, mid to upper 90s in the Sacramento Valley, 89 Placerville, and 81 in Tahoe. As we look at Futurecast, we've had a couple of days with a few scattered showers on the eastern slope. That may be the case tomorrow, especially for the southern Sierra, but after that, high pressure starts to move out. There's no low pressure near California, and that means it's taking that moisture off to the east with it. So we're looking at some pretty sunny skies over much of the next 5 or 6 days. Of course, we wouldn't expect to see rain in the valley this time of year, but that monsoonal moisture sometimes brings those high country thunderstorms. Not going to be the case over the next several days. 90s tomorrow and Saturday, still near 90 on Sunday, but then by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday, temperature is going to be about 10 degrees cooler than normal, and we are going to have some of the very best weather anywhere in the country as we head towards the end of July. So looking at the next 10 days, 90s, then we're back in the 80s to start the next work week.
All right, Brendan, thank you. Right after the break, the federal government pulls funding from California's HighSpeed Rail project. Tonight, local lawmakers sounding off, plus a popular tourist site to house criminals. The plan to repurpose Alcatraz. Could prisoners return to Alcatraz? They will if President Donald Trump gets his way. Today, 2 of his cabinet members visited Alcatraz Island. Take a look.
Top Trump officials made the trip to Alcatraz Thursday. Officials only allowed Fox News to join their tour on site. Bondi telling the outlet she sees potential for restoration.
It could hold illegal aliens. It could hold anything. This is a terrific facility, needs a lot of work, but no one has been known to escape from Alcatraz and survive.
The reason they're keeping it a secret is because I don't think they're very well organized, but also it's such a bad idea.
Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi also slamming the administration's efforts.
If they want to spend money on prisons and public safety, there are other areas that they can do it. The price that it costs is exorbitant, but it's not just the price, it's the money to pay for it. We have better uses for it.
Republicans in Congress are working on a bill to end environmental protections for Alcatraz and take away the National Park Service's control of the site.
Everything I know from when I was in the Senate tells me that it is practically impossible to take away a park designation from a property like this. I've never seen it happen.
Boxer says the visit is meant to take away attention from a decision to not release additional files in the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Pam Bondi leaving Washington is a distraction from the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's what this is about. No question in my mind. And this is a president who claims, oh, he has to cut wasteful spending. He's going to spend 4 times more on a prison than another prison. It's all part of this fantasy.
The National Park Service estimates it would cost $250 million to make the facility habitable again.
And Interior Secretary Doug Burgum told Fox News their trip was primarily to look into this as a possibility and nothing is a done deal. Well, Bont is challenging a rule he claims will make it harder for people to get health care under the Affordable Care Act. The Trump administration's final rule would make a number of amendments to rules governing federal and state health insurance marketplaces like Covered California. It's estimated more than 1 million people could lose their health insurance while causing millions to pay more for premiums and out-of-pocket costs.
It contradicts the ACA's guaranteed issue requirement, and it overrides state flexibility without legal basis. We're asking the court to block the challenged portions of this rule before they cause irreparable harm. This is about upholding the law, defending the ACA, and making sure no one's forced to go without care because of an unlawful, unjustified federal rule.
California has approximately 2 million ACA plan enrollees, the 3rd highest of any state. And tonight, California is suing the Trump administration over federal funding for the HighSpeed Rail project. $4 billion was officially cut just last night. And tonight, local lawmakers and a congressman are now sharing their thoughts with ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen on how and where that money should be spent.
California's controversial HighSpeed Rail Authority will now have to figure out how to come up with extra funds after $4 billion in federal money was cut from the project. Tonight, Democratic State Senator Dave Cortese tells ABC 10 California will be responding with a lawsuit.
Now what's going to occur is a lawsuit between us, the AG's office, and in the administration, which will probably tie things up for, I'm assuming, 2, 3, 4 years. And, during that time, nobody can do anything with the cash flow.
To date, high-speed rail officials say the Merced to Bakersfield corridor cost ranges between $34.9 billion to $38.5 billion, which is a big difference from the initial proposed $45 billion for the entire project from San Francisco to Los Angeles. State Democrats say losing the federal money is a huge blow, but the state does make up a majority of the funding. Democratic state lawmakers say the federal government's action will not stop the project from moving forward.
I'm pursuing legislation this year to speed up the permitting for high-speed rail so it doesn't constantly get delayed. And in terms of funding, we need to invest as a state, and we have to be creative. And we need to consider, for example, partnerships with private entities.
Meanwhile, Republicans see this as a win for the state. Republican Congressman Kevin Kiley, who introduced legislation to cut federal funding earlier this year, says this is going to save billions of dollars in wasteful spending and believes it can go towards more useful projects in the state.
We are also sending a letter to Secretary Duffy today that's going to ask that the funds that have now been rescinded will be redirected towards other needed transportation infrastructure in California.
State Republicans say Californians have more pressing issues to tend to, like lowering the cost of gas.
You take that $1 billion a year that we do every year and actually lower the gas prices for California residents. We have the highest gas prices in the country by $1.50 a gallon. So I think that would be better for the people of California.
At the state capitol, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
All right, after the break, Champions of Hope. We meet one woman who's inspiring others to get out. All right, so the video that you're looking at right now is cell phone video showing the arrest of a man at Home Depot off Florin Road just before 8 this morning. We know that a woman who identified herself as the wife of the man being arrested said that he is a U.S. citizen with no criminal history. According to a Border Patrol official, he is facing charges of impeding or assaulting a federal officer. An update here, we do want to say that tonight the community organizing group called NorCal Resist says that he has been released from federal custody. This is a story, a major story that we will continue to follow as we work to get updates into our newsroom, and we'll have more coming up on Late News tonight at 11. But before we go, of course, we want to mention our Champions of Hope, because we know that in news, stories are filled with challenges and hardships, but incredible things are happening every day. From neighbors helping neighbors to inspiring acts of kindness, each week we're sharing stories of people who are really making a difference. So tonight in our Champions of Hope, we introduce you to a local woman who took a simple idea and built a powerful community. Tonight, how a walk turned into a journey of healing, connection, and growth.
What started as one woman's journey through pain.
About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I wasn't able to do the normal activity that I was used to doing.
Has grown into a powerful movement. Jennifer Kidwell's diagnosis left her in pain and on medication, changing her body. After talking with her doctor, she found a way to help heal.
So I started walking and I fell in love with it. And it was something that was really therapeutic for me and with my disease. And so then I thought, maybe there's other girls who want to walk.
She started Good Vibes and Strides, a walking club.
Just an amazing amount of responses saying, yes, I'd love to join you. And so the official walk that I planned, and I had 113 girls sign up for that.
Once a month, the group laces up for a new scenic route around the greater Sacramento area. The outings are open to women of all ages and backgrounds, offering more than just exercise, but a space for connection and community.
As you get older, I think that your friend groups get smaller, and then it's harder to meet people. So I absolutely welcome the older generation. I feel like there's also something super important about cross-generational conversations. There's things that you can learn from each other, and we have a lot more in common than we like to think we do.
Jennifer encouraging women to introduce themselves to new faces and reach out to anyone walking alone.
Every single event, we've had girls that come solo. So I always say, you might come solo, but you won't leave solo. You will always be walking with somebody. No girl walks alone.
And Jennifer says women have shared how these walks have really helped them break through loneliness, building meaningful friendships, and also discovering strength that they didn't even know they had. And I do want to mention there is a walk that's happening this Saturday. It's a Cool Girl Walk from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and it's at the Roseville Galleria inside, so you can beat the heat. If you want to check out the details, you can always look for our story on abc10.com. As always, thank you so much for watching and for always inviting us into your home. You already know if you have something that you think me and the team should be looking into, or you want to share it, Champions of Hope, please reach out to us. You can always email us, text us. We love, love, love to hear from you. And don't forget, you can always download our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app to catch up on any stories or shows that you missed. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.